Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to UndercoverETuk UK. I hope everyone's doing really well. Thank you so much for all the support, all the recent subscriptions. Guys, you're appreciated. If you are new to the channel, please look back at some of the evidence, guys. It's really hard to sort of get around your head at first. Like, they look like bugs, but they do move faster. They give off radio frequency, X and K band. They are all over the planet. They tag absolutely everything, and they're not just high up in the sky, folks. They are also down low. They cross the roads. They're just above the power lines, above the houses. They are everywhere, folks. So I suggest you get your phones out, get your cameras in the skies, because you never know when you're going to capture that saucer, that tic tac, that orb, that one piece of gold. And I'm telling you guys, if enough of you do it, someone out there will capture something absolutely amazing. Just like Ben in Oklahoma, just like Karen in Wales. Well done to you guys. Congratulations on getting first, second, and Joanna, of course, third place. And for everyone else that took part, we had 7 people come fourth. You know, we had a freaking bird flying through a brick wall. We had all sorts of stuff, guys. Really amazing. So, folks, keep it up. Remember to hit the notification bell as well. And let's get on to today's video. Okay, so we're going to start with something a little bit off topic, but I do believe, well, I'm a believer that this is linked to the UAP topic. Okay, so Jeffrey Epstein, as you know, he was found guilty on sex trafficking, rape, various different things. He obviously had a big organisation and a bit of support around him, okay, for him to have stayed under the radar for so long. And Anna Paulina Luna's just released the Epstein files, okay? Epstein files can be found here. They were just uploaded by the House Oversight, and of course, guys, I have the files, okay? But I'm not going to show you them today, but I do have them. If you're on my Facebook group, I may upload them on there later on. So, folks, hit the more button, go under the description, you'll find the Facebook link there. Let's have a listen to what Anna Paulina Luna has got to say.
Bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
Will you sign the discharge petition and ask the discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But I mean, obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of this file. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you.
What do they call for the victims? Do they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go, even the Attorney General has stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also, too, are as young as 14. That's child pornography. No, thank you, guys.
Alright, guys, so if you're wondering why I'm showing that, I do believe Jeffrey Epstein was involved in counterintelligence. He knew quite a lot. He had some dirt on some high up people, and that's exactly why he was taken out. That's what I believe, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and maybe one day I'll get into all the details as to why Jeffrey may have been involved. And I have been emailed some stuff, so thank you very much. I do appreciate the information, and it does keep coming in, so who knows. If you want to hear about that, let me know in the comments. But Anna Paulina Luna sticking to her guns, saying and doing whatever she needs to do. This is why I love what she does. Big supporter of her. Thank you very much, Anna Paulina Luna. Okay, so UAP Reporting Centre, Garry Nolan. Something non-human is here, and it's been here for a very long time. He's also revealed someone tied to the White House told him to shut up because he was getting too close to the truth, guys. Let's have a listen.
At least the claim of it. You know, the question you ask about, can you enhance? I mean, that is part of a discussion in the group, and I won't talk for other people who could talk it better than me. But it was from the very beginning, in my mind, once you localize a function in the codic attainment that might be involved in the processing of information, if not the actual, let's say, antenna. I don't think the caudate putamen is the antenna. I think it's a processing function, and that the information is somehow, if it's real, impinged across the brain, and then it's coordinated in the caudate putamen, and that's actually what caudate putamen does with senses. It takes all your senses, incorporates them into a structure downstream of executive function that says, this is what I need to do. And then unconscious functions that say, react to that flash of light, or react to that leopard about to leap out of the bushes at me, in a subconscious way, processes it and says, here are the movements and things that you need to do relative to your emotional and memory state. That's for real. That's what the caudate putamen is involved with in what we call intuition. But as I was thinking about it, it became kind of obvious to me that if you needed to place a coordination of the information that might come as an additional sense, or a sense that we don't understand, it was still going to have to go through the same routing system. There's no need to evolve a whole new system if you've already got one in place onto which you can overlay the same kind of information. So that obviously, you just need to be paying attention to even lay literature, that there are ways that you can stimulate the brain from the outside, whether that's via drugs that change the nature of how nerve pulses operate. Things as drastic as DMT and LSD and the whole tryptamine family and beyond, to electromagnetic transcranial stimulation that's been around for a couple of decades now, and now ultrasonic stimulation of the brain in ways that don't fry the brain, but yet turn on or off various regions, and it's now known that you can do that. So it's an obvious next step to say, okay, well, if this part of the brain is involved in, let's say, claimed remote viewing or claimed psionic interaction with entities from beyond, why don't we try stimulating it and see if it gets any better or worse? But here's the problem. People might do that in their garage, and God knows what that does to people, right? You don't want to be messing around with your brain. You don't want to be the guinea pig. So again, stepping back and doing this in a formally scientific way, first of all, looking at the ethics of what you're doing, getting institutional review board approvals, which is the standard way that clinical trials are ever done on humans, where you basically say to a board of experts, ethics and whatever the relevant science is, say, how do you do this? Or this is our proposal. Do you see any holes in it? Do you see where we might get in trouble doing this? Like, for instance, you don't do it on children. And even with parental consent, because, consent really means you understand. Consent doesn't mean that somebody let you do it. So, you really have to understand what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. And then you put it together in a way that the time and money and effort spent doing it is not wasted, so that you try to fill all the potential loopholes ahead of time and the mistakes you could have made, so that you don't waste anybody's time in the process of carrying it out. So yeah, I mean, and again, I now know of many groups trying this, and it's not just the people that I'm most immediately talking to, and that's exciting.
He talks about regulation and almost how we should be very careful about, just jumping in our garage and doing these things to our brain. We don't want to be the guinea pigs, but ultimately, it's kind of like preparation. He's the way he's going about this. It's kind of like he's talking a lot of sense. He doesn't want people to just dive in and be the guinea pigs and not really know why they're doing it, but they're doing it anyway. There's got to be a goal at the end of it, and you don't want to be testing something that you really don't know how to control yet. So it's a very real thing. I appreciate what he's saying. I appreciate the fact that he's putting it out there. And guys, just watch this space. There's so much we've got to learn. We need to do it together, guys. We need to do it together. Exactly the same as filming the skies. We need to announce that together as well. And we can do that by filming, submitting the evidence and getting it into me. And regarding the evidence, let's just quickly show you one from Dr. Robert Shipe. Now, this is a radio hit, guys. So for anyone that's new to the channel, you need to see the radio hits from these things, right? Check this out.
LAPD, Zone 2, now approaching Zone 2. Imminent. X-band. There's the X-band. Zone 2, right on the money. I didn't see anything fly by. LAPD, Zone 2, now. Zone 2, Zone 2, Zone 2, now approaching Zone 2. Imminent. X-band.
Now, if you were wondering, guys, he's filming quite a distance away, okay? So when the object comes past, it takes a little while sometimes for the signal to hit the actual detector, but that's what's happened there. He's got the X-band hit, Dragon UAP comes past, he's got his little tree here, his neighbour's treetop, and this is a good indication of Zone 2. Dragon comes by, Robert knows exactly when they're going to come by. On that occasion, he gets a radio hit. And that's exactly how it works, guys. Now, I appreciate it's a really small object, but like I said, he's filming a long way away, guys. So, you know, the fact that he can even get anything is remarkable, right? But he's been doing this for 8 years. Sometimes he gets a close-up shot where they get a little bit closer to the camera. But ultimately, guys, these things are about maybe the size of my hand, maybe a little bit larger. And he's also captured other things as well. He's captured an orb that's flown across. Recently, he's captured a much larger sort of, looks like a tic tac, right? Or a pencil, but it's just a saucer that's just going extremely fast and it was traveling with the dragon. So, guys, it's possible. Just keep filming. Look out for those Dragon UAP and you will eventually capture more. If you've got a car radio detector, hook that up next to the camera as well. And it won't go off unless, you know, you're putting it in front of something that's going to give off a radio frequency, like, you know, a speed camera, for example. So point it in the sky, point it in the direction you're filming, and if you're in the right area, you'll be pleasantly surprised, guys. Now we're going to go from what we can prove to what I really can't prove. I do not understand the whole Bigfoot phenomenon. Okay, I've spoken about it with Jack. I've seen the posts. I've always stayed completely reserved. And now we're going to look at a clip that's gone viral. This footage was from 1960s and is going viral after it was finally enhanced and stabilised. I'm going to give you my thoughts, guys. The way I see it, and this is Alien UFO Sightings that's done this post, by the way. The way I see it, I've done no research on this, but I have done research on UFOs, UAP, ETs, all that stuff, and I can tell you with my hand on heart, we are not alone. Okay, I can tell you that the sources move like something out of the Twilight Zone. They are really unconventional. They can move in different ways, exactly when they want to, instantly. They can fly upside down, come in sideways, whatever they want to do, right? The most unconventional things I've ever laid eyes on. So with that said, the fact that they can disappear, go tiny, go large, look like they're morphing shape when probably they're just creating an illusion. I don't know, right? The fact that they can do all these things and move the speed they do tells me that there's more out there. There's more to existence than just us and trees and buildings that we build, you know, and mud. There's more to it. And so on the Bigfoot phenomena, I'm really just, I'm looking at this from a researcher's perspective, okay? I want to just let this loop on so that we can take it in. I'm not too sure what's going on here, but they've managed to clear up the image and stabilize. It looks like some kind of magnifying glass of some kind. It just makes it a little bit clearer. To me, first of all, let's get one thing straight. This is not a monkey or an ape or a silverback or anything like that. For the simple fact that this thing is walking so much like a human. He or she literally looks like he's just finished a shift down at the factory and he's on his way home to get himself some blueberry pie. Honestly, that's what it looks like to me. You can see just the way he's walking. I'm going to say he because I don't know, right? Even cheeky enough to look back at the person or the camera. So there's no concerns at all that this camera's on this thing. Has a cheeky look back, casually swings in his arms just like a human would, you know, after a long day at the office. I'm just saying, guys, you know, look, I mean, look at the upright walking and stuff. Now, look, for the 60s, if it's a suit, it's a bloody good suit, right? And I guess the big question here is, regardless of whether it's real or fake, who's the camera person and what was it doing filming in the complete open like this? I mean, the trees are bare. There's no cover. So if there's anyone behind that camera, they are not being covered, guys. In my opinion, this looks like they're just out in the open. Bigfoot's casually walking by, has a little look, hey, how you doing? And continues on. Is that realistic? I don't know, guys. Do I think that potentially things go in and out of our existence, in and out of our dimension? I would probably say yes rather than no, based on what I've seen in the UFO research. So that's where I'm just on the fence with this. This could be a humanoid that is intelligent enough to walk around like us, you know? Just unfortunate enough that they're massive and they're hairy as fuck. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Right now, my honest opinion is I think this is a person in a suit. But that's because I've done zero research on the subject. So maybe I'll dive into it in a little bit more detail soon. Right now, though, we've got a lot of UAP evidence coming in. We've got a lot of talk in Congress. There's a lot going on regarding UFOs and ETs, guys. So we've got to stay on this topic for now. But if you do want me to dive into the Bigfoot phenomena, let me know in the comments. All right, guys, so that's it from me today. Just a short one. Folks, if you are new to the channel, please record the skies. Submit the evidence, undercoverETuk@gmail.com. Go for that flying saucer. We're going to do a whole new competition now, starting from today all the way until the 29th of August of next year. Get your cameras in. I'm sure, in fact, I'm positive that we are going to get more sightings really soon. So prepare yourselves, get stabilised, find the place you want to start recording and think about that time. Because when it all starts kicking off, guys, we want that footage to come in. Thank you so much. Take care. All the best. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.